Hey, fifth graders, this is Mrs. Molino reading the science lesson for today, Monday, March 30th, pages 92 through 94. And then I also have the close read questions that I can show you and read to you as well. I'll post pictures of them so that you can maybe write them down, write your answers down, type them in a Word document, however you want to do it. That's easiest for you to complete. All right. So we have weather instruments. It says at the top, meteorologists are scientists who study weather. Weather is the condition of the air in an area. The conditions can change, so they are called weather variables. The most important weather variables to meteorologists are temperature, air pressure, humidity, and wind. Meteorologists use weather instruments to measure each variable. Temperature. Temperature is a measure of how hot the air is. Temperature is measured with a thermometer. There are many kinds of thermometers. The most common kind is a liquid thermometer. A liquid thermometer is a thin glass tube connected to a small bulb of liquid. As the liquid warms and cools, it expands and contracts. The height of the column of the liquid in the tube changes in response to the temperature. By labeling the liquid tube to show temperatures, the meteorologist can read the temperature directly from the thermometer. Metals also expand and contract in response to temperature change. Some thermometers use strips made of two different metals to detect temperature changes. These are called bimetallic thermometers. The two metals have different rates of expansion. One side of the strip expands more than the other as it heats up, and the strip bends. A pointer on the end of the bending strip points to the temperature. So you have a weather tower with a weather station on top, a bimetallic thermometer, cold and hot, and a liquid thermometer. All right, page 93. Air pressure. Air pressure is the force of air pushing on things around it. Air pressure changes with the density of the air. When air heats up, it becomes less dense. When it cools, it becomes more dense. The instrument that measures air pressure is called a barometer. Air pushes on a closed container, one side of which is attached to a dial in the barometer. The harder the air pushes, the higher the dial goes. The dial measures in units called millibars. Changes in air pressure mean that weather conditions will change. Falling air pressure means rain is coming. Rising air pressure means fair and dry weather is coming. Humidity. Water vapor is water, H2O, in its gas state. As vapor, water can enter the air. The water vapor will eventually condense and form drops of water, which can fall as rain. Meteorologists measure humidity, the amount of water in the air, with instruments called hydrometers. I don't know if I said that right. Humidity is measured as a percentage. Okay, here's your picture. All right, wind speed. Moving air is called wind. Meteorologists are interested in how fast the wind is moving. To measure wind speed, meteorologists use anemometers and wind meters. As an anemometer, oh my gosh, I can't even say it. Anemometer uses a rotating shaft with wind-catching cups attached at the top. The harder the wind blows, the faster the shaft rotates and the faster the cups move through the air. The moving cups measure the wind speed. A wind meter is an instrument with a small ball in a tube. When wind blows across the top of the tube, the flow of air up the tube lifts the ball. The harder the wind blows, the higher the ball rises. Both instruments are adjusted to report wind in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. And the last page, 94, wind direction. Meteorologists are also interested in the direction the wind is blowing. To determine wind direction, meteorologists used a wind vane. A wind vane is a shaft with an arrow point on one end and a broad paddle shape on the other end. When wind hits the paddle, it rotates the shaft so that the arrow points into the wind. Using a compass, the meteorologists determine the direction the shaft is pointing. Wind direction is the direction from which the wind is blowing. It is reported in compass directions such as north or south. Modern weather instruments. Meteorologists now use a combination of traditional weather instruments and computer-based digital weather instruments. Meteorologists get information from advanced electronic instruments that are placed in good locations for monitoring weather. Those instruments use radio transmitters, like those in cell phones, to send information to weather centers where meteorologists work. This weather device for home use has electronic instruments inside for detecting and reporting temperature and humidity. Some models measure air pressure and are connected to anemometers to measure wind speed.